say, oh, well, now I can't have these conversations anymore. I can't have these ideas because what if it goes into an area I don't want it to? Whatever shall I do? I don't operate that way.
And
I like
the
that
fact
about live
the
settings.
matter is, the fact of the matter is, though, is that these people are not going to change their minds just by exposure to our content. They're not just going to get their mind changed by exposure to reaction videos. They will only get that model that they've developed, that echo chamber is only going to be broken in an epiphanic fashion. It's only going to be broken whenever it's shocked in a life-changing way, like whenever their views just get punched in the face and they don't have any way to validate it.
And who has to really counter anyway? One guy saying that he wants to have this part of the country for himself and can't tell you how he's going to distinguish which one are white people, which are pure white people, what that even means. And then the other guy is talking about people having to pay reparations, but can't tell you if it's going to be all black people, only black people that only black people that had actual slaves in their lineage, or white people that own slaves, or all white people. Who has to really counter that? No one. You know why? Because it looks stupid on its face. I like we said earlier, I have more faith in this audience that watches this than to think that they're going to watch these two idiots talking about these sort of things and go, you know what? That sounds like a really good idea. We should jump on that. Yeah. If anything, they were the poster for going the way that it should be.
What was Shan's question again?
What's the correct way to do it then? That's what it all comes down to me. Like, I'm open to hear. Like it seems as though because you can't predict. You can have all of the best laid plans, and you cannot predict what a human person is going to do in real time. You just can't. So the only way to prevent it is to never do it at all. And then you may miss every opportunity. Like, you kind of have to take the hits with the misses. And when there is a miss, you can't just say, well, that's it. No more opportunity to have a hit because there was a miss this time. So derail everything. That's it. We're done. Nobody do this anymore.
I think I'm sorry. In this situation, to answer your question, Shannon, I think if there would have just been someone that was less extreme on either end.
That's just a moderate ethno-nationalist.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're having you have one extreme and the other. And if there was someone that could have at least been in the conversation where it was a little bit more moderate to provide a little bit of balance. And I
actually disagree. I think the more extreme you get, the sillier you look on your face.
And they look silly. That's what the people are missing. No one walked away from that last night going, JF's got a really good point. Or Psychopath Atheist, he made sense. No one.
Well, in the chat, there was plenty of people that agreed with JF.
Have you ever been to a flat Earth debate?
Yeah.
All the vote cards lost again.
Yeah, I don't think any of them had an epiphany during the video and said, "Oh, damn, he's right."
Yeah,
while it's on my mind, I think this is an important thing that we've crossed over that I think, especially nowadays, is very important to address. We've been talking a bunch about some individuals, but a lot of groups in general, incels, alt-right, and ethno-nationalists, one of the issues that arises from a desire to want to control who does and doesn't have a platform is the fact that, especially nowadays, people are simply called things that they aren't, and they are demonstrably not, but the narrative sticks. There's plenty of people who, for whatever reason, think I'm alt-right, or a misogynist, or a racist, or a sexist, or a transphobe, fill in the blank, whatever word. They can never provide evidence of it. I've never been alt-right. I mock the alt-right. I think they're very silly, but there are always people out there who will say, Rags, he's an alt-righter. He's been an alt-righter for a long time. So if you're going to go out and say we can't give alt-right people a platform, well, now, for a lot of people, I'm fucked.
Well, I'm already also Rags at homes here.
You're gay, so.
But 10 minutes ago, I was told I'm a rape apologist now, so I guess I can't be platformed.
Well, me personally, I can't get enough of rape, which is why I stuck around. But I think one of the issues is that if you're going to go around and say alt-righters can't do this, then there's going to be a lot of people, especially nowadays, like me, who, like, I've had people deny, like, doing work for me because they say, oh, I've heard things about you. And they're just blatantly untrue. But now, well, I got lumped in with that too.
Well, my whole deal is, if you don't want to promote a certain ideology, or you don't want to be confronted with it, then that's fine. But I mean, if you're against a certain extreme view, you get to ask yourself, why are you against that extreme view? And if you are so against that you don't even want to have that conversation with somebody, then how confident are you in your belief if you're not even comfortable defending it? That doesn't compute to me. Like, I mean, if I'm so passionate about something and I'm being presented with something otherwise, I will jump on every opportunity to show them why they're wrong.
Well, that's not fair though, because like if you have someone like Mel who's saying that she's got trauma in her background, there's clear reasons why she's not going to want to be confronted by an incel.
Of course, and that's an extenuating circumstance. But to make a blanket statement and say that, I mean, I have my anxiety triggers, and I'm not going to do anything that would cause that, that would trigger that just for the sake of combating my opposition. I'll leave that up to other people. But to say that people shouldn't do that, or that they're not going to do it, because I mean, maybe there are some views that she does hold that she's very passionate about, but she still won't allow opposition on because she's against their views.
And a lot of this comes down to educating people as to what are good arguments against things that generally don't come up. Ethno-nationalism is a really fringe belief out there. People don't encounter it on the daily, if ever, in their lives. It's very, very out there. Mm-hmm. So if they meet an ethno-nationalist who's very charismatic, who comes across as very intelligent, who has statistics and this, that, and the other thing, then, well, I've never heard any arguments against it. I've just always just sort of known it's bad. What if it's a Holocaust denier who has a really compelling argument that the Holocaust never happened? I mean, would most people be able to say, other than, well, of course it happened, would you be able to, counter those arguments? This is about teaching people how, this is simultaneously teaching an audience and letting an audience know and absorbing how to counter what we would consider bad ideas by watching people counter bad ideas. I know I could counter a flat earther a whole hell of a lot better now than I could 3 years ago. Just from what I've absorbed.
Well said. Well said. And that's key, I think. I think we're winding down, I think, unless anybody has any last minute thoughts or anything they want to put out there before us kind of wrap things up. And Chad, if you have any questions, you can feel free to tag me if you want to ask me about last night, because after tonight, I'm not referring back to last night anymore. It's a done over with thing. If people still want to be upset about it, then they're more than happy to do so. They're just gonna have to get over it or watch something else. That's
or die mad.
Yeah. That's where we are now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will answer them.
And I would say there's also a difference between saying, I'm not going to personally platform somebody on my channel, and saying this person doesn't deserve a platform anywhere.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say deserve. I would say deserve to be.
Deserve is an unusual word, but I hope colloquially it's understood.
I don't think anyone deserves a platform.
Yeah, I mean it in a
right.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, but I do believe that bad. I think what he's trying to say is that bad ideologies don't have to be presented on your channel. You can say that they're not going to be on your channel, but you shouldn't say that bad ideologies should not be faced head on any channel.
They're not allowed to be on channel.
I actually have never said that. I think we.
I never said anyone said that.
I didn't say you did. I
said that. Just putting that out there. Just
okay.
Just as a thing.
I'm just saying because I've been under fire a lot in the side chat, and so I'm saying is
fire
bad
back.
Ideas. Oh,
you have?
Well, I have. Yeah. So I have. I'm the crazy redhead apparently.
Oh.
So I do believe that bad ideas do need to be challenged and discussed. From my personal ideologies and what I do. I like a highly controlled environment in that, so that because the fact I don't want an association with a particular thing or to inadvertently have my particular content used for the promotion of a bad idea. So that's what I'm careful about in regard to what I think is the fine line that you walk. And that's what I was trying to get across in what I was saying. And so maybe I didn't.
I think that's
maybe I
totally
didn't
fine.
communicate.
I've never had that issue either.
Very fair and respectable, Mel, and nobody should criticize you for that choice.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it is your platform, and you should run it the way you want. And the content that you put out, I mean, it's not even the same format, though. I mean, in your case, having a controlled environment, especially with guests and everything, is a huge plus.
And it's educational. So I totally understand Mel and how she does her content. Her content is great. It's just a totally different kind of content.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not a debate.
and Mel and I have
Oh.
even had arguments about the fact that how she wants to talk to anti-vaxxers versus how I want to talk to anti-vaxxers. Mel doesn't think we should call them terrorists. That's
not for the. That's not the way that the reason.
Katie's got a strong position on that.
See,
I agree. I
don't call them that because there's
they don't fit the
studies that show the
definition.
people that are on the fence are more likely to hop over to that camp if you start demonizing them outright. That's just the recent study.
I
think
do
that's
think
an
there's a lot
excellent
of
point.
Mel,
I think that's an excellent point.
It
When
is.
you
I
start
just
to
say-
demonize, I know I agree with Katie. I think anti-vaxxers are terrorists, and that's mainly because I can't get vaccinated. So they fuck with herd immunity, which fucks with me. So that's why they bother me. But anyway, I think that's true. If you demonize and shun a specific type of person and specific ideas, all that does is, I mean, honestly, it does push people away and can lead them to that because you look like the bad guy. And so I think it's really important that we have these conversations in semi-controlled environments like a debate structure where you have a moderator or two that can, rein it back in. But you cannot just push the ideas out like they don't exist and don't confront them, because that's only going to hurt everybody.
Yeah, I don't believe anything should be off limits as long as it's opposed.
Yeah, I think anything should be discussed. Yeah, you catch more flies with bee vomit, as they say.
Look at everyone in the final stretches coming together to agree.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, I'm gonna read these super chats real quick.
We can disagree and still be friends, guys.
The South shall rise again.
There
Not
is
you,
the
I wasn't talking to you.
That's a very important.
there is the important point that I wanted to end. And Dave, I sent you an article. I just want you to pull up the article on the screen where people can see it. Doesn't matter how you do it. I just want them to see the headline. In this YouTube sphere that we have, we are made up of all sorts of personalities. Everybody's got a different personality. There are a lot of type A personalities, a lot of people who think that their way is the right way, and some people who are better at, maybe they bend to the will of what is popular, or they are going to go where what's going to get them the most views, or they're going to go with what they feel more passionate about despite the views. It runs the gambit here on YouTube. And what people have to understand, and I've said this many times, but I don't say it arrogantly at all. I have a vision for this show. I have a direction and a way in which I want to see things done. A sort of game plan, if you will. Believe it or not, it doesn't just, even though it seems like that sometimes, it doesn't just happen in a couple hours right before we go live. I am okay with platforming people who hold extreme views, because in some cases you have like Shannon and I did with the incel show. You have somebody that comes out of it and comes out of it really well and is a lot happier. You can tell by talking to him. Shannon, wouldn't you agree? You can just tell
I really like him.
Yeah.
He's a great person. And, he wouldn't have been able to even maybe discover that for himself if he hadn't have been able to have the have himself shaken by a conversation with people that previously he looked at us as though we were part of the reason that he was being victimized, because people like us only ever talked about him.